Don't fall into her eyes. She dead to hear your cries. That's how she stay alive. I'm falling to exhaustion. I'm speeding, there's no caution. Look at what it cost me. You can't boss me. I'm here to take the lead. You can't. Depression is my bitch. I love her pretty legs. The way she wrap around me, I believe every word she said, but she really lies. Don't fall into her eyes. She dead to hear your cries. That's how she stay alive. I'm falling to exhaustion. I'm speeding, there's no caution. Look at what it cost me. You can't boss me. I'm here to take the lead. You can't plead. Then she got down on her knees, sucked the life right out of me. What do I do? Where do I go? What she got?
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your man Royalty. We're here today, and we're back with another podcast episode. To my left is the lovely
Lay the Bae. Y'all already know what it is.
And we're giving you that raw,
educated
analysis
of life, baby.
And today we got a special guest in the building by the name of Degragioh, all-around artist and poet. Like, really dope. Like, yeah.
Thank you. Nice to meet y'all. I'm so glad to be here. Like, I love being on podcasts. That's low-key, like, my second hobby that I like to do every now and then. I'm trying to talk my husband into doing it with me, but
definitely should.
I love podcasts. That's like y'all's what's the word I'm looking for? I'm sorry if I get pregnancy brain through this interview, but y'all's industry is growing so strong, and I'm so proud of y'all for stepping out and doing the things that y'all have to do in order to create your own lane.
Right.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Shout out to you for coming on here and giving us the opportunity to get to know you and talk to you. So let's start with where you grew up and where you're from.
Oh, that's an interesting story. So I was actually born in Germany. I was born in Landstuhl, Germany. My parents are military.
I was just going to ask that. You had to be a military baby.
Yeah, like my parents were military. Both of my parents were in the Air Force. So I actually, for like the first 5 or 6 years of my life, I didn't even live in the States. And then we made our way to Chicago, lived in Chicago for a little while. Then we made our way to the South in North Carolina.
Okay,
and that's where I grew up, like, most of the time. Yeah, I've been some places. I kind of left some places out, but I just wanted
you could get into it. Where else have you bounced around to?
But yeah, I live in New Hampshire. I've been all around different types of cultures, different types of places. I've actually lived in Germany as an adult too. Like my husband's military, so I ended up going back. I've lived in Japan. I've lived in Turkey. I've lived in what was the other place? Paris. So I've been all around the world. That's kind of like where you get to hear those little bit of different things that I bring into my music and my art and my poetry and stuff like that.
She got flavor.
Right. So what do you call home then? What do you call home then? Like where do you feel like you kind of like built the biggest like bond there? Like where it's like that's it. Right?
Honestly, being a military kid, you never call nowhere home. Like, you're kind of always ready to go, like, to always be in the moment. So you don't really attach to anything, which is sad in a way, but it's kind of like freeing because you can always move. And, if life, whatever way life sways you, you can adjust.
Right.
Yeah.
I think.
Was it hard? Sorry, go ahead. I was going to ask, was it hard for you to make friends?
No, it was hard for me to leave my friends. Like, I remember, like, having to change like up groups, like, a lot of the time. So, like, kind of when I got towards like high school, going into college, I started to become a loner because of it. Because I just didn't want to become attached. But
I think that's the thing. A lot of privilege that a lot of military people have, kids have, is they're able to adapt to any situation because you have to.
You have to, like, you kind of have no choice. Like, and nobody talks about, like, really, like, how the, like, military kids and the spouses are, like, really affected by that. But yeah, it plays out in relationships, like spousal relationships. It plays out in, like, friendships. Like sometimes I'm so scared. Like, when I like you a lot as a person, I'm scared. Like, you get abandonment issues too, like, indirectly. Like, people don't like to talk about that, but that's really, like, it's really not healthy for a child to go through that constantly.
Right. So growing up, how did you get into like creating in your poetry and everything? Was that something that you had from like a young age and you just like brought it up?
Yeah, I actually started writing poetry when I was 7. I was published by the time I was 8. I already had 2 pieces that were published. My mom did it anonymously though. I didn't know that she was going in my room and reading my poetry.
Oh, wow.
She took my poetry and got it published. And she was like, "Oh, I got something for you." I came home one day. She said, "Oh, I got you a book of poems." I was like, "Okay, yeah." And it was the book of poems that I had always wanted, and basically I opened it up and there was my poem, and it was she had dash anonymous because I was underage, but it got published.
Wow.
I'm gonna have to send y'all the link to it. It's still available
Absolutely.
today.
Wow, I was about to say, like, what was it about?
Back then I mainly talked about like a lot, like I think the main reason my mom got it published because I was very, very articulate about abandonment. Like I talked about it a lot in my poetry. It wasn't always sad poetry, but I spoke about real experiences. And a lot of people think kids that young can't, put the experience together. Of course, I did it at the age I could do it, but it was very advanced for, a 7-year-old per se.
I feel like people don't give the kids that same, like, they think they're not smart enough to articulate something like that and express themselves in that way. But I always say kids, they're just little people. They're little people. They're the same as us.
They're little adults, right? Really.
Right. I talk to kids. I don't baby talk. I don't do none of that. Like, we have a conversation.
I always reference. I'm sorry. I was about to say I was gonna say I always reference the Matilda movie. Remember when the father told Matilda, "I'm big, you're small. I'm smart, you're dumb." And I think that some parents have that type of mentality where they feel like that and forget that your kids is probably smarter than you.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I guess what kind of triggered that was like my father, my relationship with my father, like the trauma between that. But my mom always been there. She was like, whatever you feel right, like just write, just write it out. She was like, when you write, you feel better. When you write, you manifest. So I was doing that at a very, very young age.
So she encouraged you to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My mom didn't play that. Like when we was into stuff, she did that push so that she was like, "You're gonna find out if you like it or not." Kind of throwing the kid in the pool to see if they're gonna swim or drown. Right. Yeah, that's how my mom was. She was very supportive.
That's awesome. So she nurtured your creativity. That's really, really beautiful. A lot of times parents don't do that because especially in Black households, they don't see creativity as a viable career path.
Yeah, because they don't look at it as they don't look at it as like, okay, you can make real money from doing this. They look at it as like, oh, this is just like becoming a basketball player, or this is just like becoming the president. That's not stuff that they're used to seeing on a regular basis. But the thing is, in our generation, we know that you can become president if you want to. If you want to do this music, you can do it independently. There's nothing. If you can hustle a drug, you can hustle something legal. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely a fact. And my mom always instilled that in me. So she never, like, whenever we came up with any ideas to how we wanted to do things, she always encouraged it.
Shout out to Mom.
I know, right? I miss her. She actually passed away last year. I miss her so much. It's been tough, like, actually advancing in the music too, because like stuff started kind of taking off a little bit after she passed away. I did my first performance 2 weeks after she passed away.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but it was one of those things where Mama was telling me to go ahead and do it. She was like, I'm here. Like, I'm just, you maybe can't see me, but I'm here. Like, so whatever you do, I'm gonna be there with you.
My sincerest condolences to you, because I really understand. I lost my mom in 2020, and I feel like you get an extra push from that, especially if you're a creator, because you want to do it for them. That's how for me too. Like this podcast and everything, and me doing my music as well. It's like I'm doing it in memory of her, in honor of her. You know, it's like
oh, we got a collab. Let me sneak that in.
Oh, for sure. For sure. That's a definite. Show you. Are we gonna make that happen for real? So you mentioned your mom, but you said some trauma from your dad. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. My dad is an interesting character. He was raised on the south side of Chicago. That's where my dad's side is from. They're from Chicago. So you already know where I'm going with this. It was a different culture, you know, back then the gangs were just as, you know, tough. So my dad was in the gang. He went to the military to you know, kind of get away from that lifestyle. But when he went to the military, he had already had 2 kids. When he was in high school, he had 2 women pregnant at the same time. So then he met my mom while they were overseas, and my mom knew nothing about, like, he didn't tell her anything, and she didn't find out about the other 2 kids until really after she had my oldest brother. And that kind of, honestly, the trauma, I want to say this before like I get into it real deep. The trauma from your father starts before you're even born, if he's that type of person. Because you got to understand, this man is carrying you in his nutsack. If you think that does not mean anything, or you think you just get a consciousness when you get into your mother, that's crazy, because I had to break a lot of generational curses where I didn't even know where they came from. And I later found out it was from my father and the activities that he was doing before he even had me, before I was even thought of, you know what I mean? But it's a lot of trauma there. We don't have a relationship. When my mom passed away, he called to see if I was like telling the truth about it or not, which was weird.
Really?
But yeah. And he was asking like, oh, are you and your husband gonna ever have a baby together? Because I'm married, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, oh, well, you know, if you don't have a baby with him, you shouldn't be with him. That means you're not supposed to be together. You can't procreate. So I'm just kind of giving y'all some ideas of like who he is and like how hard it was to. And then not only that, he's military style. So we were like physically abused by him too as well. Like that made me a tough little cookie. That's how come you'll hear like that's the first time I've ever been defiant. That you hear that in my music, you know, like, because I felt like when I stood up to my dad, it was nothing that nobody could do to stop me. Like that was my biggest bully. So, you know, I stood up to my biggest bully. So, you know, but that made me a tough cookie. I am appreciative of all of it. Do I wish it would have turned out better? Yeah. But do I wish it was different? No, because I wouldn't be who I am today, and I love who I am today.
That is a beautiful outlook on that situation, because most, you know, the way they say it is, you know, boys are more attached to their moms and girls are more attached to their father. But in your instance, you didn't have that type of attachment. It was more of, you know, like you just said, trauma, but you overcame it. And the fact that you don't even regret it, you understand, the fact that you had that perspective of, hey, it made me who I am today. It's a beautiful thing. I appreciate it.
Took a while. Thank you for saying that, because it took a lot for me to get there, because like, this is what I want to tell young women that have daddy issues, because I see this a lot, right? And you know, I hate to hear people say, oh, Daniel, you're the exception to the rule. Like, because I didn't sleep around because my father wasn't there. I didn't have destructive behavior because I was an A student. I went to college. I'm a nurse outside of you know, music. That's what I do. And so, you know, I did everything I was supposed to do on books, you get what I'm saying, on paper, you know what I'm saying? But this is the thing, ladies, don't use that as an excuse. Because you're not hurting your father, you're hurting yourself. When you lay down with that man you don't know, being promiscuous, and there's no judgment here, because don't think it ain't never crossed my mind. Nothing you do it is not like it ain't never crossed my mind, going through the pain that I went through. I just decided, we're faced with the same choices. I just decided to take another route. And the route I took is least talked about. So I just want to be there to tell you there is another way to express yourself and get that pain out. And I recommend therapy regularly to the Black community.
Yes, that is something that a lot of Black people don't want to talk about because our therapists are the church or whatever, or uncle
God is
whoever.
saying.
Right.
In Jesus'
right. But that doesn't help all the time. I'm not saying that religion is bad necessarily, but they can't fix everything. We need a professional to help.
God said faith without works is dead.
Hello.
That part.
Hello.
The fact that you were able to self-analyze like that is huge because a lot of people have issues growing up, but are not able to face them because they don't even analyze what they've been through. Like you have to analyze, like I've been through here, so I don't want to do that. It reminds me of the tale of two kids and an alcoholic father, and one grew up saying that grew up and said, I'm not going to do anything like that. I'm not going to be my dad. But the other one grew up to be an alcoholic. You have to make that choice because you are a product of your environment, whether it's positive or negative.
Mm-hmm.
And you chose the positive way, but it's not that easy to just make that decision sometimes.
It's not. You're tempted for sure because, even like it seems like when you're in that position, you're going through like where you're healing your generational curses or trying to figure out how to heal them, right? Mm-hmm. You attract people that aren't so good. You know what I'm saying? They're okay with it. It's like you get that extra push from people, like, oh, do the wrong thing. Like I'm like, and then you always have that one friend that's in the back, like, you doing this, girl? You shouldn't be doing this, girl. And I just thank God for always keeping that one person and always keeping my ear, open to hear that person because God always put people in my life to guide me too as well. And that'll be selfish to say I figured it out all by myself. No, I've always had a friend I can cry on. Well, my friend is my cousin Michelle. Like that's my biggest supporter. She's at everything I do. She doesn't miss a thing. I call her my friend because she's been my friend, my sister, my cousin. Like, not to be weird, but my lover. People really need to understand what being a lover is. You don't have to be intimate to be a lover to people.
Right.
Like, but she's my she gets me through a lot of stuff. So, she helped me realize, that I could be different. I don't have to be like everybody else.
That is so awesome to have that person in your corner for real. Because you know that everybody needs that person in their corner, like to really be honest with them, push them the right direction. Because for me, I really didn't have that for a long time. I didn't have anybody in my corner growing up. Like, especially when I got over 18, I was homeless for a while. So, and, you reach out to anybody, you like try to latch on to anybody, and especially the wrong people. Those voices you were talking about, usually it's the quiet one telling you to do the stuff right, and it's everybody telling you to do stuff wrong is loud. They're yelling at you. Well, let's go over here and do this stupid stuff.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Now, let me ask you this because.
Okay.
Let me say this because you went from, of course, being a military child, traveling all over the world, you found your voice in a way that you can express yourself by writing your poetry. When did it start getting into, let me turn this into music? When did you fall in love with music?
I've always been in love with music. Music has been a part of my life. I think since I was in the womb. My mom is a Whitney Houston fanatic. When I grew up in one of them households, on Sunday morning, you hear breakfast and music from the oldies. On Saturdays, when it's time to clean up, mommy's playing oldies but goodies, and we're dancing together, we're singing together. I did not put the music like I was saying at the time, I was doing poetry. I didn't put the music and the poetry together until I was grown.
Wow.
I've always been a hard music. When I say I was into music, like I always analyze other people. Like a critic. I was a music head, a hip hop head, a rock head. It's no matter what type of music you put in front of me, I'm going to listen and I'm going to analyze. Yeah, but I didn't put the music and the poetry together until I became an adult. I was probably about 22, 23.
Wow.
I think it's easier for people like us that write poetry to transition into hip hop because hip hop is just rhythm and poetry. It's just putting your.
It was hard for me. It was easy for you.
It was easier because I think I started writing poetry first and then I started rapping, but it was easier. Like the first time, it was challenging at first because I put an expectation on myself. So it was like I needed to sound like this, and then first person that heard my rap was like, "Bro, that's your first. You never written a rap ever before?" I was just like, "No, is it good?" It was like, "It's really good." Like, you swear you didn't write nothing else before? I was like, "No." So it was harder on myself to get where I wanted to be, but from the beginning, people noticed something from me.
It was hard for me. I'm not even gonna hold you. The very first time I was drawn to it though. It was like I was called to it. Like one day, this is when I was in Germany. I had just freshly got married. And I was in Germany. I was by my husband. They had sent my husband to Poland. 5 days after me getting there. And I was sitting in the room and I was cleaning up and a beat came on, like a random instrumental. And I like beats and I can sit and listen to instrumentals all day, right? I'm sitting here, I'm listening to this instrumental, I'm like, and I'm getting a tune to it. And I'm just walking around like singing a tune. I was like, am I singing somebody else or is this my own? Right? Then I was like, let me write down what I got. So I wrote it down, and it was only 2 lines. It was only 2 lines, but I think that poet mind, because I have wrote, it was such a distance between the poetry and the music. I analyzed it too hard, and I automatically shut myself down, and I did not pick up music again probably until I got back to the States.
Oh wow. Who would you say?
I kind of shot my own self in the foot there. Yeah.
Who would you say are some of your musical influences, and musically and for poetry wise? Like, who do you look up to?
My favorite poet is Edgar Allan Poe. I'm pretty sure that's not a surprise. My favorite artist. Oh my God, it's so hard to say. My favorite artist is Kendrick Lamar.
Okay. West Side.
But I just can't even, because just the way because when we're talking about a total complete artist, right? Not a performer, a total complete artist. I'm sorry, Kendrick is checking off every box. Like, he's checking off every box. The lyrics, the way that his delivery, the fact that it makes sense, is complex. People think he just does double entendres. I'm like, nah, that is flipping like 6 or 7 times if you go back and listen to it.
That part.
It has like 6 or 7 meanings behind it. So I study Kendrick Lamar. You'll probably hear it in Murder, She Wrote. And a Takeoff is another one that I study him because of his delivery. And his that rhythm, he started something there.
Yeah,
the way that he do his tongue, that's an art. He don't really talk like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, that's an art. Like, Takeoff is another one. Papoose. Don't nobody give Papoose credit, but Papoose is the guy. He is the pen god. Okay.
Hello.
If you haven't listened to Alphabetical Slaughter,
huh?
Don't call yourself an artist. If you haven't tried it, don't call yourself an artist.
Right.
Let me ask you this, because you just said something very important. You said, there's a difference between a performer and an artist. Can you just go a little bit into that? What are the differences?
Oh, yeah. To me, I feel like I'm just going to be, if y'all don't mind, I'm going to be all the way blunt with this.
This is real, baby.
Me, I feel like the main stage people that are out now are performers. Okay. If you have ghostwriters, you're not an artist. You're not. Like, people give that a pass, but if we have ghostwriters, anybody can do this. You get what I'm saying? Even to have somebody help you write. Now, a lot of artists are not gonna agree with me on this, because they're gonna be like, "Oh, well, if you write for yourself all the time, all your music is gonna sound the same." No, it's not. No, it's not. But this is what I believe. Nobody else writes for me. I always write for myself. I don't need ghostwriters. And another thing that makes an artist is being able to turn their experiences into music. These performers cannot do that. The stuff that they talk about, the stuff that they put in their music, they're not doing that stuff. That's the ghostwriter's experience. That's not there. You don't really get to know them. You want to know why we love Michael Jackson and Prince and all them so much? Now, I ain't gonna lie. Michael had a few ghostwriters. I found that out later. He had a few people write for him, but his real songs that he wrote are the ones that touch people the most. Okay? Michael Jackson, Prince, let me think of some people that's not really industry. Bob Marley. Bob Marley is an artist. He's not a performer. He's an artist. He's all the way around. Like, and I'm not dissing performers, right? I'm not dissing them, because you gotta do what you gotta do to live, but y'all gotta move over and let us do what we gotta do too. Right. Don't feel like you can compete with us or that we're in the same field, because we're not. Okay, we don't do the same things. I have different challenges than you do. You show up and you get in the studio and you sing from a paper that was already written for you. You pull from a reference track. I pull from.
Oh, I was just about to say that, because people don't realize it's not just the fact that they wrote it for you. They rapped it for you to show you how they wanted you to perform it. On top of that, like, you go back and listen to it's somewhere out there. I haven't been able to find it yet, but Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre, Still Dre. Jay-Z wrote that. There's a reference track where Jay-Z is rapping like Snoop and then rapping like Dre.
I asked Jay-Z where he got that reference track from for him.
Whoa.
Because we all know Jay-Z buy songs, he don't rap songs.
Oh yeah.
We heard that from, Trick Daddy told us that.
Right.
Jay-Z's a good businessman. If Biggie and Tupac was alive, there would be no Jay-Z. That's a strong statement, but I mean what I say when I say it.
Okay, now.
Don't get it twisted. I got a lot of respect for Jay-Z and his wife. People gotta respect him for what he do, though.
Right.
I ain't disrespecting Jay-Z, but I'm just saying, if we talking artist talk,
Jay-Z was a smart businessman, like you said. He was able to move pieces to make him look better. It was about producers. It was about. It wasn't really his necessarily his talent that was everything. His talent was bringing people together to make a fight. He found a Kanye and was like, okay, I'm gonna make this my lane. Because before that, if you listen to old Jay-Z, he was just like everybody else. Like, that same old regular. He didn't have his own style.
Like when he was at Marcy Projects, y'all pull that up. When he was at Marcy Projects, or is it Mercy? Is that the name of it?
No, it's Marcy. It's Marcy.
I thought so. Yeah.
I definitely respect the fact that you said the ghostwriter thing, because me as an artist, I just cannot have somebody write something for me. I wouldn't
be able to deliver it.
I can't.
That's how come I said that's what makes you an artist. If somebody else wrote for you, you wouldn't even be able to deliver it.
Because
even if it made sense to you, because you don't believe it, it don't come
exactly
from the
art. Right. When you feel it, that the fact that you wrote it, it comes out a different way. The fact that you wrote that, it's just such an awesome feeling to do something that you wrote.
That's a fact. Like, I'm proud, and that's why I will write for other people.
Right.
Because other people is cool with that, right? Other people is cool with people writing for them. I will write for other people, but my credit gotta come with that. Like, It's never a thing where I'm a ghostwriter. I will never agree to be a ghostwriter. I need my credit.
Exactly.
Because, like, my pen going down in history. I claim that. Every day. I wake up every day and be like, just like they talk about Michael Jackson, even if the whole world wiped out and there was one person to survive, like Noah would know about Michael Jackson, and he would still be talked about in civilizations. I'm gonna be that person. Like, I tell myself that every day when I wake up. It's called positive affirmation.
Exactly. Getting the credit for your art is really important to me. It sucks because I grew up in the 90s where a lot of times people were not getting credit for it. People had to get exposed, like Milli Vanilli, like, right? You remember that? Like, it was like, bro, they didn't sing this, and there was another artist I can't remember that was out there, and it was a bigger lady singing her stuff. Like, she wouldn't even sing it in her own stuff or nothing, but they didn't want to put on.
You talking about what's her name? I watched her. I don't know if y'all watched this show, this YouTube channel, Old Hollywood Scandals. I'm trying to think. Y'all watch that too? Oh,
yes.
We some nerds, y'all. We love music for real, y'all. We some nerds. And she was talking about that a lot on her channel. How a lot of Black artists would actually cover for white artists. Like they keep saying, like, y'all think y'all know Elvis, but it was somebody else singing that.
Exactly. Or like another example would be Ashanti wrote a lot of that stuff, wrote and sang a lot of that stuff for J-Lo.
Right.
Yeah, because what does J-Lo even sound like?
Right.
For a long time, I thought it was Selena.
Right.
Wow.
I mean, I was gonna say J-Lo. I was gonna say her, but I was like, let me leave J-Lo alone for a second. I've been on J-Lo all week.
I respect her from the standpoint of dancing and everything like that, but as an artist, she's just not that for me.
She's a performer.
Yeah.
She's a performer. She's the exact example of a performer. Like a great, you can be a great performer though.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's definitely nothing wrong with that.
I'm also happy you mentioned Kendrick Lamar because, of course, I'm from the city, so one of our people. The fact that he's able to use his voice like an instrument, like I've been on him since 2010. I missed the opportunity to work with him way back then. That's another story. I was kicking myself in the pants this day.
Ooh, I'm about to say, let me kick you in the butt.
I would have been like you. Like I got this thing right as an artist. I can tell like when I'm gonna come across an artist that's gonna be like. I feel like every artist I collab with is gonna eventually be at some type of,
Right.
Because I can just I've got the eye of the tiger. I'm like, yeah, you hungry? You gonna make it? You gonna make it? We gonna do music together. That's why I told you. I was like, yeah, me and you gonna collab. I see your eye. I see your eye.
Oh, definitely. So I had a quick question to go back. So both of your parents were in the military, or just your dad?
Both. Mom, Air Force, and my dad was Air Force.
So did you ever consider going in?
Yeah.
Why
my whole family's military. I didn't go in because I like weed too much. Like you can't smoke weed in the military. So like I'm like, if they legalize it, I'll think about it. But for the military.
That was part of the reason for me too. My dad was in the Navy, right? And he wanted to that's one of the things when I was homeless and everything, he was like, we'll go to the military. And it was like, but you gotta stop smoking. It's like
right. I was like, do you ever seen somebody spiral out of control? Like,
and without weed, it takes 30 days to get out your system. So it's just like, dang, I gotta stop smoking for a whole month. What I'm gonna do for that whole month?
Right. I was not feeling it. But on a deeper note, the real reason why I did not join, I thought about it. Like by the time I had thought about joining, my husband had already been through it. I got brothers in the military and stuff like that. But I didn't do it because I saw a lot of Black men struggling in the military. It's a silent struggle that Black men don't talk about. And I just don't think the military is the place for us Black people. Like, why fight for a country that's never fought for you? And I get it. You got to feed your families. Of course, we don't do it for the country, but at some point we got to draw a line and be like, I can go make money elsewhere in another way.
Exactly.
Like we have to say that because you're selling yourself. You're really hurting your family more than you're helping on some stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? Just think about it spiritually and energetically. You're actually going against your own people. So I just don't think the military is a place for any Black person.
Wow.
I
saw some stuff. I saw some stuff that really bothered me. I actually had to talk. A lot of military men out are killing themselves. A lot of military women out are killing themselves. When I was in DILSEC, it was like 8 suicides a week. I opened up my house for Thanksgiving, and I told all the military people, if you are not going home, come here. Don't be alone. I will come get you out of your rooms. We even went to the dorms and made sure nobody stayed in there by themselves.
Wow. It goes really, really, really deep. And people have long-standing issues from them. Even my dad did. He didn't want to admit it, but the military just teaches you to push stuff down and not really deal with it. So like that was an issue with my dad. He didn't really know how to deal with feelings and emotion. Like he was a loving father at a certain point, but at a certain point it was tough as far as him. He didn't know how to express himself. So when my grandpa died, he was going through it and didn't tell nobody.
Yeah. It's like I noticed it. My dad was messed up before he went to the military. The military just amplified it, right? But I see it in my husband, because he actually me and my husband went to college together.
Mm-hmm.
But when we were in college, we were not boyfriend and girlfriend. We were just, best friends or whatever. And, he was like, he went into the military when he was like 22, 23. So, because he always tell me, if you go at 18, they're going to get you. Mm-hmm. But, if you live a little, it's going to be hard to conform because you're going to know they're brainwashing you. And when you know they're brainwashing you and you're just playing into this part, you start to realize you're not playing anymore. They have totally tricked you into mind control. And it takes some unraveling. It takes double as many years as you were in to get out of that, to get out of those practices.
When your husband went in the military, did he have a degree already?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That is the smart way to go. Mm-hmm. It definitely is. Because when I did ROTC in high school, and they were like, the best way to do it is go to college first. Because when you go in, the same people that you were in boot camp with, you are now above them because you have your degree.
I mean, you are, but it's still like a thing amongst colored people. And I'm not just talking about Black people. I'm talking about brown people too. Like, oh my God, it don't matter how the ranking goes. Like, it's still some serious mental stuff going on in the military. I wish they would just sit down and talk about it. One day they would actually sit down and talk about the psycho stuff that they be doing to them, even on the most basic level, to make them question everything. And that spills over into the household.
Right.
That's when the kids suffer. That's when that's why you see so many military couples break up. Because now Sergeant is in the house with his demons too. You get what I'm saying? But me and my husband made it. Like we told each other, I don't care what goes on here. We are going to love each other at the end of the day, no matter how angry we get at each other. We are not going to step outside of each other. We're not going to be like everybody else. We don't need those coping mechanisms when we have each other to cope with. You get what I'm saying? So it worked. It worked for us. We didn't say, I ain't gonna lie, we didn't say after that one tour in Germany, he got out, and because he couldn't stand being away from me that long,
So he didn't re-enlist? He's out
Nope,
now?
Not after that. Yeah, he's out now. He on his own trucker business. He be doing his thing.
All right now.
Oh, and I didn't tell y'all, when you get out the military, right? Right before I was telling, when my husband was getting out of the military, it was like, you will be better in here. You're not gonna make any money out there. It's better here.
Wow.
And he looked back on that all the time and be
that's
like, I wish
spooky.
I could go back and tell them. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
So you had mentioned that you guys met in college.
Mm-hmm.
And then so he enlisted afterwards. Were you scared for him going in there? How did you guys meet, first of all, and then to go to that point?
I went to Fayetteville State University in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Shout out to Bucking Broncos. I went to Fayetteville State. I loved it there. We met on some weird stuff. I was actually dealing with another guy, and I ended up going to a party or something. That's the first time we had seen each other, was at the party. The other guy was getting on my nerves. That was a whole sticky situation. That's why me and my husband just started. We were just really friends, but we've always been attracted to each other. We met at a party one night. They was having a little kickback at their dorm room, so then we went back. That was the first time I ever smoked weed. I ever had a drink. I was with I did not know this man was gonna be my husband, but I was with my husband. And it was great. We bonded on a mental level. That was our thing in college because we was kind of dealing with the same thing, leaving home for like really the first time and being protective of our mothers and coming from a single parent home, and stepping out, having siblings behind and stuff like that. So we bonded on those things. And that's how we kind of meshed together. When he went to the military, though, we did not talk for like a year.
Oh,
So I actually found out he went because of the other guy. That's why I brought him up. We actually went a year without talking. And so when he went to the military, I had no clue. I would have taught, and I really think he won't admit to it, but he went to the military because I left Fayetteville State, and he was, I really think that's why, because I had went through this situation where I had got R-worded on campus and stuff like that. And he was, I think after I left, it just devastated him, like how that whole situation was. And he just couldn't be a part of it, especially since nothing was done to help me. I'm going to just put it like that without saying any names. Nothing was done to help me. And he didn't want to be a part of that, And I think that's why he really left, went to the military, but we reconnected. He told me one night he was laying under the stars in Korea and he was looking up at the stars and he was just wondering what I was doing. So he decided to reach out to me. He was like, from that day on, I was on a hunt to find you. Wherever you were, I was going to come back and get you.
That is so sweet.
Right.
And he's so supportive with the music too. Like,
I was just about to ask that.
I wish people could see like the behind. Like if you actually went and watched my videos, you can hear him rapping the songs. Like while he's recording, he'd be so into it. He'd be like, "Oh, y'all don't even know about."
So he's your biggest supporter,
right? That's awesome.
He does not play, and I did not realize that was a problem until I went to LA and I did the BET Awards weekend show with Too Hot Radio, and he was there with me, and all the artists was like, "Oh my God, your husband's here supporting you!" Like, I was like, "Yeah, where y'all stuff is at?" And I was like, "Oh no, like it's a thing where like relationships struggle because of the music industry.
They really do."
And have you had any issues, with doing music in?
Not really.
In relationships?
Well, in past relationships, yes. Like, my ex did not understand it at all. Like, and she was not supportive at all. She thought it was a little pipe dream.
Oh, Lord.
When, like, it was discouraging for me because I knew this is what I'm called to do. You're called to do something, but somebody doesn't believe in it. So you're gonna clash and keep clashing because you think this is just the pipe dream when this is what I'm meant to do. My creativity is like, I have too much creativeness in me to just let it sit inside of me.
Right. So, and to allow anyone for that matter to stop you from what you're feeling inside. Like, you got to move out the way. Just move out the way.
Right.
And that's the one thing I think like would have been because when we had that conversation, like the moment we realized I had this, right? Because let me tell you about my husband. He's a big music critic. Both of us are music heads. We would much rather be at home, critiquing music, watching concerts, going to concerts, eating food while going to concerts. That's our thing. Like we go and we support the artists that we love. And we're big music critics and stuff like that. So the very first time I went in the studio and I recorded, he was like, "All right, so what are we gonna do with this? Where are we going? What is the plan?" And that's what I love about my husband is that he does not sit there and tell me I can't do something because I done proved to him so many times. Don't you ever tell me can't because I'm making my mission to make it happen.
Hello.
Shout out to your hubby for being supportive like that. That is super.
I love him. He's like a breath of fresh air. After all I've been through, I did this.
So you said he's a critic. You guys are critics, right?
Yeah.
So is he critical of your music as well? Like,
yes,
he push the best out of you? He don't.
Yeah. When I'm in the studio, if that shit sound like trash, he'll be the first one to tell me from the back, that shit sound like trash. Like one time I wrote this song. I'm gonna tell y'all what it is, right? I'm gonna tell y'all the lyrics of the song. It's gonna be on the album, but I changed it because he got on my ass so bad about it. Now I thought it was smart, right? I said the money gonna flip. I said the money gonna flip. What did I say? But I said something about I got too much dip on my chip. That's Tostitos or something like that, right?
Mm.
No, it's like that's stupid as fuck. I thought it was so clever. I was just in the house like, yeah, this is like Tostitos. And he
you thought you had bars.
Like, bro, that's trash. Shut that down.
Like, no, that's fire, fam. No.
Right. Yeah, he was like, yeah, my husband will tell me in a second, like, nah, you can dig deeper than that. That's his thing. Cause like me, everybody wanted me to make like fun, poppy songs, stuff like that. I'm deeper than that. Like when you listen to my music, okay, I let out Shut the Fuck Up, which is another EP. That was my real very first EP. No, Venom was my first EP that I let out. And that Venom was like a mix of I'm talking shit and I'm being different, right? So you can get like a range of my personality. Shut the Fuck Up. I was just talking shit because I was mad because I was trying to show people don't play with my pen like I'm regular, right? But I was still growing, you know. Now, Imagination Destinations, you know, that's my softer, you know, I've evolved EP. Murder She Wrote, it's articulate. Like I can't even wait to let y'all hear and experience that because I really want people to listen from Venom all the way up. Like if you're new to me, please grow with me because don't go to the new music first. Go to the old shit that you think you're not gonna like and grow with me because you're gonna appreciate me more as an artist, you know? And you know, yeah, like I suck sometimes, but sometimes, you know, my husband will tell me to go in there. Like I do have people that I lean on and I'll read them my lyrics and be like, yo, how does this sound to you? How does this sound? And they'll be like, you know, Daniel, you know, you can go deeper than that. But my whole aim is to be a deep artist. Like people were trying to make me make like poppy
bubblegum music.
Yeah, and I'm just not that girl. I'm not riding that way. I don't even know how to twerk. I do my homework, y'all.
So when we collab, then it's gonna be fire because we on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
Let me say this right quick though before we get because I know we're about to dive into the album and you know your independence as an artist. For your husband to be so real and say was a lot of people believe that when someone loves you or they lie to you, that means they love you. And don't understand that when someone actually is telling you the truth, that means they really do love you. Because the fact that he's able to tell you, yo, that's trash, he's not saying it from a mean standpoint of view. He's saying it like, no, you got more in you. You could do better than this. You understand what I'm trying to say? So I salute him as a man because that's the way it's supposed to go.
And that's hard to do, especially when you're dealing with an artist that's sensitive about their shit. Exactly. Like you gotta find a way to go in there. But I'm glad my husband don't hold back on me too, because I had to get my feelings hurt a couple times. I ain't gonna lie, for me to realize you gotta have tough skin when you do this too. You gotta know when to stand by some shit. If you be like sometimes I'd be like, okay, you don't like it because he didn't like Horses on Imagination Destination. He did not like that song. That song is loved by everybody. The country song I made a country song called Horses. They love it. White, black, Hispanic. He was like, how you gonna pull? I was like, I'm making this just for Texas. Why? So he was like, I don't like that. Now he done heard it a million times. Now he loves the song.
Yeah.
I sometimes you gotta stand. I need that to learn how to stand up to people too, and to know when I'm right.
Exactly. And with somebody like that you're with, it's a difference between saying you're trash and saying that was trash. You can do better.
Yeah.
Because they know you, so it comes from a place of love. Now it might be hard to take a little bit, but when somebody's telling you you could do better, okay, I got you.
Right. It's like a challenge. It's like, what did you just say to me?
So how many projects have you released so far?
How many projects? I have released three 3 like group projects, and I've released like some singles. Like Revolutionary was my very first song I ever recorded. Don't tell me I'm gonna have to pull up my own discography. But yeah, the short little tape I made. I saw probably about 4 projects. I'm about to release my first album though.
Mm-hmm. So that's what we about to get into.
Right before we get into that, I do want to say something that reminded me of something. You said you were born in Germany, and then also you were going to Fayetteville State. Reminds me of J. Cole. Do you have any connections to him?
You was gonna figure me out. That's my guy. I love him. Absolutely love J. Cole. The most down to earth person I've ever met in my life. Like it's not crazy to see him in Fayetteville. That's a fact. Like when we see him in Fayetteville, nobody goes crazy and be like, "Oh, J. Cole," where he's down to earth. He be home all the time, man. Matter of fact, when I lived in Cary, he lived around the corner from me.
That's what's up.
He has multiple homes in North Carolina. He's not just, in one spot. But he's a cool guy. I love J. Cole. He's a mentor too. I love him.
That's real dope that you like so you actually have like a real connection with him. Like so you
Yeah, like he definitely is like you could have a connection with J. Cole. Like when I tell you like he's just a dope person. He just like when I met him at Fayetteville State, the very first time I met J. Cole, when he came and did a concert at Fayetteville State, when it was him, Miguel, and Fabulous. You can look this up. Him, Miguel, and Fabulous, and we went back there. I played volleyball in college too. I forgot to tell y'all. I went on a scholarship. I played volleyball. So I had when they let all the athletes go back and meet, the people that came and performed. I'm back there. Mind you, I don't care if y'all put this up. This is a true story. Fabulous is a dickhead. And I'm going to keep saying that for the rest of my life.
This is the real, so we don't edit nothing out. So
right.
Hey, Fab, you got to eat that.
Yeah.
And your makeup didn't match that night.
Whoa.
Yeah, I said it.
All right. That's how she feel, people. That's how she feels. Can't take it away from her. Fab, you might need some PR.
Yeah, man, a little bit. You can be nice. All I said was, hey, you can rap. Like, I was feeling the mixtape you had just dropped. Like, cause Fab got that man's talented though. I ain't taking away from that. Trash though. But yeah, I had met J. Cole that night. He told me that night that I was gonna be doing music, and I was nowhere near it. Didn't even think about it. He was like, I don't know if you thought about it. I don't know if you know, but you're gonna be doing music. The way you critique and analyze. I don't know if you're gonna be doing A&R, but he said, nah, I just really feel like you're gonna be rapping. When he said that, I laughed. But here I am.
Right.
That is super.
I was going to the Olympics to play volleyball. I did not plan this.
Well, you never know how life works out. You never know.
Yeah, and
that was probably the spark that you needed right there, though.
And listen to the people that come in and minister to you sometimes too. It usually come from like the craziest places, and you never, But I always tell that story because I love J. Cole. He's so down to earth. Man.
Shout out to J. Cole.
Facts. So let's dive into the album now. I think I'll let you ask the question first, Lay, since you said.
Yeah. So the album is called Murder, She Wrote. And, a lot of people, when they hear that phrase, of course, they go back into the Little Kim verse on All About the Benjamins. But people don't understand the meaning of Murder, She Wrote. Can you go into the meaning of it and even why you chose it as, your album title?
I actually chose Murder, She Wrote. I'm going to tell y'all why I made this decision. I had got to a point where I had done like shows out, I was doing shows, competitions and stuff like that. And I was starting to notice that some things were rigged. Because I'm not a sore loser. If I lose, y'all understand, I got that music critic in me for a reason. So if I lose, make it makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I started to notice it was a whole lot of rigging stuff going on, right? So I just got hungry, and I was like, I'm gonna kill y'all with my pen. Every last one of y'all that came against me is going on this. And when I write it down, you're out of here. I'm taking you out the game. Like you're and I tell people to tread lightly when it comes to dissing me, because I will end your career.
Okay.
I tell people, I just told my husband the other day, this is how confident I am about myself as an artist. And this is the way every artist should be. I will beat old Nikki in a battle, okay? Because I've challenged myself to old Nikki. That's the only reason why. You know, I rode on itty bitty piggy just to see if I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So I'm not coming at Nikki, but I'm just letting you know where I'm at.
As an artist, you always should feel like you the best, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for real, like you got to challenge.
But don't make it make sense, though.
Like, right.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if like Kendrick can say that, J. Cole can say that, the people that actually work on their pen, bro, can say that.
Right.
Like, you can say that. If you got ghostwriters, I don't want to hear you saying that, bro.
Actually, it reminded me, I wanted to ask you about that. Like, being a female hip hop artist, I think is difficult because back in the day we had more people that were just lyricists, like MC Lyte and Queen Latifah. Like, and then
my inspirations, you just named both of my main inspirations is MC Lyte, Queen Latifah, and Roxanne.
Right. And then when Kim came, I didn't see an issue with her coming, but Kim birthed a lot of today's rappers.
Yes.
But it was cool because Kim was in her own lane because nobody else was doing that when Kim came out. But then, you know, you get a Kaya after that, and then you get a Trina, which Trina kind of created a little different lane too. But then now it's just everybody is just carbon copies. Nicki to Cardi to Megan Thee Stallion to like, it's like, what are you doing differently than everybody else? Like, I can say Megan does have a good pen, but I feel like she dumbed herself down when she shouldn't.
Yeah. I think that's everything you name that you hate. I'm the opposite of that. Like, I'm not dumbing myself down. I don't feel like I got to talk about twerking. And I mean, will I make a twerk song? Yeah, but look, if y'all ever see me in a twerk video, it looked like a white girl twerking. Like, I'm gonna be real though. You know, I'm not gonna act like I can do this shit. But my thing is this: I think what I'm bringing is intellect and class. Like we gotta bring that old school shit back. Like,
exactly.
Thank you.
Here is getting out of fucking hand. Like where you got people out here looking crazy as hell. Like we need somebody out here that can be standing strong as a woman that doesn't waver. I'm a woman that doesn't waver. So yeah, I'm very strong on my
apply that pressure, baby.
Everywhere. I tell people all the time, don't put me up against this. Is everybody know this in the industry. The moment you compare me to a female artist, I'm finna diss everybody. Don't put me at the kiddie table, bro. I don't deserve to be there.
I love it. I love the fact that you have that oomph in you. Like you're not the unwavering factor means a lot because a lot of people come into the industry like that where they just, you know, somebody gets convinced them to go away from who they are as an artist. Like, no, stick to what got you there in the first place.
Yeah, they be getting scared.
Right. That's why I decided to stay independent because I can't do the thing. They would kill me in the first 3 days of signing the contract. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because honestly, I'm not built for the industry. I gotta be real with my people. I don't blindly lead people into shit. Like if I'm gonna be looked at as an example and I know people are watching me and stuff like that, because it's not even just little kids. It could be your peers. Like people that ain't made it in yet. And I'm selling them a dream like, oh yeah, I made it. I signed a contract. I got all this money, but guess what? I got a handler and I can't say how I feel.
Can you speak a little bit more about that? Because you are an independent artist. A lot of people, would agree with, signing up with a major because they give you the money, they give you that push. But like you just said, they silence you. Why is it important for you to be an independent artist? And how would you compare, from a major to being independent?
As an independent, like, to me, it's important to be an independent artist because I need my voice. Mm-hmm. Like, if I got a platform this big, if I'm building this platform this big with this much responsibility, I don't need nobody. I think today is so impersonable for a person to put out a PR statement. Mm-hmm. Like, what happened to really? I know people feel like they're connected to their favorite artists because of social media, but you're really not. You wouldn't know, because when they get on live, they don't acknowledge you really in the comments. They're just talking. There's that. That's why I feel like I have to be independent, because as an independent artist, I don't have no choice but to care about my supporters, because it's just me and them. You get what I'm saying? I don't get nowhere without them. Right. So that make you appreciate them different. When you go to a label, everything's bought for you. Views, because let's talk about it.
Okay. Let's come on, baby. Come on.
Followers. That none of that is real.
None of that is organic. None of it.
So really you sold out for nothing. Even the money you spending, the money that you spend, that they talking about, oh, I'm gonna take care of your music video, I'm gonna get you a videographer, I'm gonna get you a stylist. That's your money, baby, that you're making a label and they're using you to do that. You gotta pay that back.
A lot of people get caught up in those 360 deals where they doing all of that for you, but then they at the end they're gonna say that you owe them.
Yep. It always works out. But please let me know an artist. Please name a major artist that has left the label and did not have to buy themselves out of a contract. I'll wait. I will wait.
Crickets.
Right. I do feel like there is a benefit to it, but you have to get to a certain level where you can dictate to them what you want, to use them. Like Cash Money did before, when they signed with Universal, they maintained all creative control. So, like, they were just, the major was the distribution. That's the only thing.
Master P did that too.
Exactly. Master P controlled everything, but the label just was the people that were putting it in other stores. But he was
But ask Master P, what did he do for his artists? Did his artists own anything? Cash Money's artists own anything?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it, because those houses that they put them in, those labels own that house. They don't own that stuff.
Ooh, true.
So then you're turning into the oppressor. So what benefit is this? But what's the benefit? What's the benefit here?
So true, because you get to that point. Diddy was just talking about that too, where it was just like, you sound like you the oppressor to me. Oh, well, let's talk about what I did for Mace. And it's just like, Mace was his own artist, and he showed proof that you owe him. But now you're trying to say that he owes you? How does that make, it doesn't make sense to me.
Won't even give him his masters back. And that's what another artist, your masters is like your soul, right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. The moment you give that up, I don't understand people that sell their catalog.
Right.
I don't understand that. I'm sorry, it's not a deal out there big enough, unless I'm about to die in 3 years and I'm gonna leave some money for my kids. But honestly, my kids can make money off of that. Like, it benefits more. Like, Black people need to stop selling themselves. Stop selling your assets. Stop selling. Like, build something. That's why artists die broke.
She means that figuratively and literally. People, stop selling your ass.
Right.
Because people don't realize that little bit of money they're gonna offer you for your art, like, they know how much it's worth. Whatever they're offering you is probably worth quadruple that.
That's why Dave Chappelle walked away.
10 times that, because I've seen the numbers. Times 10.
That's why Dave Chappelle walked away.
Exactly.
If y'all giving me 50 million, I can only imagine what y'all getting behind the scenes.
Right.
Exactly.
I don't think so. When I'm the one creating it,
right? Nah. All you doing is giving me a space.
Mm-hmm.
So I can make my own space.
I did want to ask you, how did you come up with your name, Degragioh? And it's really dope to me. Like, it's different.
I've been getting called Degragioh since I was 8 or 9 years old. Like, you know, really? From them time splitters, PlayStation, when PlayStation first started getting the gamer tags.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Your girl was Degragioh. Like, yeah, but honestly, it is some history behind that name too as well. She was actually before the Italians in the mob took the lottery system. You know, the black people ran the lottery system from Chicago.
We ran number holes. Yes, we did.
Oh yeah.
Degragioh, that wasn't her real name. The Italians actually gave her that name because she held it down while her husband was locked up and they were trying to take over the lottery system.
Wow.
The Italians gave her their respect. So
Snapple fat.
Life or no life, get down, we tied tight. Yeah.
Wow.
So the next question I had is about a song I listened to of yours last. I listened to like a bunch of your songs last night, but I listened to the one that stuck out to me the most was Depression.
That's everybody's favorite.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm still like rocking with it in my head. Like, depression is my bitch. Like, I'm like, because I deal with depression, and like you talk about mental health. How was it difficult to write that song in the way that you did, and how did it feel releasing that and putting that out?
I ain't gonna lie, those are the biggest tears. I think depression is so felt because when I actually wrote that song, I was in the moment. Like I was like letting my thought, like I was just crying on the computer, just drenching it, because I had just found out my mom was diagnosed with cancer. So it was like writing depression was like, it was like bringing everything to a head. Because when I found out my mom like had cancer, that's when I stopped running from my mental health. And I started being like, okay, you can't just self-medicate. We gotta deal, you know? So, and I was like, I wanted to talk about it in music because a lot of people deal with depression and they struggle with it, and a lot of people don't understand. So let me put it in an analogy, like it's a woman that you love.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And then maybe people will get it a little better. It's that woman that keeps coming and tell you she love you, but tell you she hates you at the same time. You get what I'm saying? Like the passionate, hard love, sex, energy, but yet you leave me so cold and empty when you get up from the bed. That side of the bed is cold. That's what depression is like. You get what I'm saying? And a lot of people that don't struggle with it, they don't realize it's a chemical imbalance. This
exactly.
Is in control all the time. You get what I'm saying? Like, especially if you're a person that don't believe in taking Western medication. So, you know, you got to find other ways to deal with it. So, you know,
I really
a very close song to my heart. I'm glad you really like that one.
Yeah, I hate it when people try to say like people don't understand it, so they just say, "Well, just be happy." It's like, wow, I never thought of that.
It didn't cross my mind.
Like, if it was really that simple, I swear that would have been.
I would. You think I don't want to be, but it's something that's making me feel this way. So the fact that you put it into song form, and it is a beautiful song. I love it.
Thank you.
And you were spitting on there too, though. So
thank you so much. Depression is like, I don't listen to depression a lot because today, because you know that was a hard song. Like when I'm dealing with it, when I'm dealing with stuff like that, I go back to I listen to that song sometimes to go back to remind myself, you made it through that. You can make it through it again. Okay, like. But depression is definitely one of my favorites, though. I just don't like to play it too much because it's a gem, you know.
Right.
I never want to get tired of it, you know.
Was that on an old project or was that on Murder She Wrote?
That's on Venom. That's on the very first EP I really dropped.
Oh damn. Okay. So what direction did you go in for the album? Is it like a story that you're trying to tell, or what's the vibe
in? The album is gonna wake motherfuckers up. Like, I touch on Kanye, I touch on Kyrie, I touch on Drake, I touch on real social issues. I touch on the fact that, you know, because one thing in the Black community is people love to make excuses for gangs, drugs, stuff like that. So I talk about, I did all that, and guess what? It wasn't for me. Like, ain't nobody glorifying that shit. So I'm using my album to stand up against shit that people don't think is cool in hip hop. I'm like, this shit that y'all think is cool is getting y'all killed.
Right. Right.
So let me do something different. So the album is not really, it's kind of storytelling because I go into some specific things that happen. But most of it is like, wake the fuck up, y'all. See shit for what it is. I wrote this song called Anti-Semitic. That's how deep this album is, you know? I wrote a song called Ain't Black Enough. I'm really coming at these people, like these head people, like, where's your... That's my grandma always said, skin folk ain't always kinfolk. You see
that part.
Granny knew what she was talking about.
So it sounds like this album is gonna make a lot of people uncomfortable as well.
Yeah. And I'm putting the heavy hitters on the album. I mean, on the radio. Like, unless they tell me, like, no, we can't put that on the radio. That's going on the radio.
I love it. I love the freedom of expression. When does the album come out?
So I have a target date. The reason why I say I have not, I'm gonna say I'm gonna say the target date is between, what we say, Lay?
April, May.
Right? April, May, right? The reason I say target date is because, y'all, I don't want to limit myself. The downloads and the stuff that I have been getting needs to come out. You know, some people put dates on, like, it could come out before that.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So I put a target date on my stuff, but I never tell you exactly when it drops. But I do a lot of heavy promos, so you're going to know exactly when it's going to drop.
Is the album done already, or are you still...
As far as writing goes, yeah. But these engineers... Like, I would just come out and say it. These engineers be trash, dog. Like, they're charging a lot to do a little bit, and I just can't. You know, I'm transitioning. I just moved to Houston, so, you know, they do stuff a lot different out here than we do on the East Coast. Like, it's just certain things that we don't parlay with on the East Coast, and it's a common practice out here.
I don't know if I could just sit knowing stuff is done. Like, it would drive me crazy. But then also, I'm a perfectionist with my music too. So, like, if I keep listening to something, I'm gonna want to change it. So I gotta put it out. Like, that's what my mixtape I dropped last month. In October now, October 31st, my birthday. It was like, if I wanted to sit with a couple songs a little bit longer, but I'm like, if I do, I'm gonna end up changing this whole thing.
I don't like when I sit with you know what God taught me with music. If you do that, you're gonna drive yourself insane. You will never release music, right? But me, once I'm done with a song and I wrote it, I shut it down. I don't look at it no more until the week that I'm supposed to go into the recording studio, and I'm just there practicing it. Because when I go in the studio, it's a performance. I don't got time to sit there with the engineer. Oh, let me do this take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times on one song. No, we going through these songs. We're going to do this rough draft because I need to hear if the delivery is where I want it to be. So I do my stuff in steps. So if I did that song right the first time, okay, go ahead and mix and master that. Let's go. Second song. You know what I'm saying? So I guess, what was your original question?
I wasn't a question really. I was just saying I don't know if I could
about how not fit. I don't like I just don't go back and look at it. Like, when I make sure before I leave that song that I am completely satisfied, because I have a like kind of obsessive personality. So I would sit there and obsess over it if I do that. You get what I'm saying?
It's really difficult as an artist, because we are perfectionists and we're going to see every flaw in our stuff and not put it out. That's why it took me so long that I released my first ever full project, because I was sitting with stuff where I was overthinking, or I wanted it to be like this. And I'm just like, I need to put this out. This is good. This is quality. More than one person has told me this stuff is good, but I'm sitting there questioning myself, like, is it good enough? is it good? And really, it's not. Is it good enough for everybody else? Is it good enough for me?
For me, and that's realize like it's not even like I want people to realize when we make music, we love y'all, right? But we don't make the music for y'all per se. It's our therapy, and if you can connect to it, like that's why we put it out. Because if you can connect to it, I would want to help somebody like me. But honestly, I don't think artists make music for their supporters. I mean, look at the type of music we're listening to today. If that was the case, the music wouldn't sound the way it does.
Exactly.
But, I think that, genuinely, we are perfectionists. I think we should not be so hard on ourselves as artists because listeners aren't as complex as we are as critics. Like as music critics, you do have those music critics out there, but those people that be online like, oh, Drake's album is trash, and they put it on headlines and stuff like. They don't know nothing about music. They never made a song, never wrote a
song. Exactly.
What are you doing?
Go ahead.
I was about to say, what are you doing different now on this album than your other projects? Like, is there any difference? Is like you said, your steps goes in process. You're processing everything. Is it any different from what you've been doing, or did you have to go into different avenues for this album?
Oh yeah, it's definitely different. It's like every time I make something, it becomes a little bit bolder.
Yeah.
A little bit bolder, because with this album, I think it's the most different is because I touch on this is the first time I ever talk about social issues that's going on like in this time and what we need to do about it. That's the first time I've ever wrote a project like that where you're listening to music you can relate to, because when you turn on the news, this is what you're seeing. You get what I'm saying?
So it's problem solution, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, yeah. I love that. That's what we do.
That.
That's what we do on here too. With a lot of podcasts where people just bring up the problems, but you can bring up all the problems in the world, but if you're not talking about how to fix it, then what
are we talking about?
Yeah, there's a lot of problem solutions. I do got a couple. I think I'm gonna name one song on the album, and I'm gonna name this song because I said she did Slay already. On Your Mother is a very what you call the. I think the casual listener would think that it's a fun song, right? But if you actually go and listen to it, I'm actually talking to celebrity rappers. Like I'm actually like, that gritty rap that we miss where people used to just go in there. Like now everybody be like, oh dang, she just coming in starting drama. No, I'm challenging everybody's pen. And if you bold, check me.
Hello. Murder She Wrote.
There you go, like.
I love it. I can't wait to connect with you off of here as well. And I can't wait to hear some of your music too. And I'd like to get your feedback on mine as well. And also, I would love to have you back on because you brought up something earlier. You mentioned it. I want to talk about it off air, but it's a topic that I wanted to get, more. Yeah. You already know, Lay. You already know, Lay.
I already knew it.
Well, it was you said the R word when you were at school.
Oh yeah. Oh, we can talk about it.
Yeah, so I wanted to do it on a separate podcast because
okay.
I know it's a lot that goes into it, and I have an experience.
That's very intense.
And I have an experience as well. And I know that's going to take up a lot of time. So, but I do appreciate you coming on. Like this has been great, better than I even expected. I knew it was going to be dope because I'm like, okay, she a dope artist, but I love to dig into the mindset and where the things came from, because a lot of times these interviews be surface interviews. You see people like interview the big people and it's just like, so the album coming out. It's just like, bro, you didn't get nothing from that. You didn't get nothing from the real creative process. There's just a couple people that are able to do it, but a lot of times it's just surfaces. You could tell if somebody vibing with an interviewer or not. Or they're just trying to do. That's why I don't do gotcha questions. That's why I asked you beforehand, is there anything you're not comfortable talking about? Because if you're not comfortable in the interview, people are going to be able to tell.
No, I'm very open. I'm an open book. I'm them old school artists that used to go and talk in the interviews. You had to talk to promote. I mean, it's different. I'm independent, so I don't have a machine to hide behind and come up with a personality for me to be. I have to be myself.
How many tracks are on the project?
The project has 14 tracks. This is my longest.
Solid. Is it all songs? Any interludes or skits?
One interlude, but when my interludes are gonna be like 2 minutes. So
okay.
30, you know what I'm saying? I got a little lot to say. I got a little lot to say on this album, and it's the first album, so it's so important to me. Murder She Wrote, it's like putting that period on it, right? Like right before you hit be, you know, well, I already parlay with industry people, but right before you let them know you can't play with me. No, it's that period. Like, stop playing with me, bro. Now start booking me for South by Southwest while I get you.
Right. I feel that. So before we get out of here, I'm gonna give the floor to you. Anything you want to say to the people? The floor is yours.
Thank you. I really appreciate coming on the R.E.A.L Podcast. This is a great conversation. Y'all make sure y'all follow me on all socials. My Instagram, I won't be up there that much. I'm actually transitioning off. I really want more people to follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, Patreon, and TikTok. The name is the same on all of them. It's Degragioh, Degragioh. I really hope I answered all y'all questions like I could, like the best I could. But I really enjoyed talking to you guys. It was so natural, and y'all just make sure y'all follow me. Make sure y'all support me. Independent artists in need you guys support. If you want better music, then support the ones that are doing it.
Facts.
Oh, your YouTube channel.
And my YouTube channel, Degragioh Says. Make sure y'all go check out and go stream Scarface music video. I need my 500K views.
I'm gonna put all the links in the description, so everybody, I always put it there. So you guys, if you want to go to the Twitter, you want to go to anything, it's all gonna be right there. So you could just go get in touch with her. And I'm pretty sure, like you said, you open to reaching out to people and people reaching out to you. So, and like I said, we got to have you on again, probably multiple times, because this is dope.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm down. Anytime y'all need me, I'm here for y'all. Y'all know that.
She's not afraid to go to the dirty.
Yeah.
Well, I'm coming to the A. Wait till I drop this day.
Oh, we didn't even get into the fact that she was pregnant. Oh
yeah, I did. I am, y'all. Today I'm officially going. I'm 7 weeks. Next week I'll be 8 weeks.
All right now.
First baby, y'all. So
you don't even know if it's a boy or girl yet, huh?
I don't know yet. I really think I'm having a boy though, and that's the thing though. I want D-Mob to like embrace my child too. Like, I want my supporters. I call my supporters D-Mob. I want my supporters to, like, you know, embrace my child. Because when I announced it, I definitely told them, I was like, yeah, y'all, like, we were introducing the baby into the family. I see my supporters in the family. So y'all, please help me. I might need y'all for some mommy tips sometimes.
It takes a village, y'all. It really does.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, it's been an honor having you on.
Absolutely.
And it's been real, y'all.
All right.
Peace.
What she got to prove, I don't wanna lose, but I don't wanna choose. It's a life I gotta move.